Hi everyone! First of all, I want to thank IDEA for organizing this amazing event despite all of what's happening right now in the world. I think it's really important for the industry, for us, to keep these opportunities alive. I'm Pietro. I run a game development studio called Strika Games. That is a branch of Belka, a software and digital agency. We are based in Trento, in the north of Italy, basically in the middle of the Alps. I'm here today to talk about Circle of Sumo, a game we published in the end of 2018. And I want to start by showing you the trailer of the game so everyone can have a bit and can understand what we are talking about. And that was the trailer. The game won a few awards, starting from the Game Room Game of the Fair that gave us access to the Indie Prize in London and the Casual Connect in China. It has been a good start for us. But let's take a step back and let me tell you the story about how Circle of Sumo was born and how it evolved in time. First of all, the game was not born as a Strika game production. The game is the second production made by Yonder. Their first one was a game called Red Rope, Don't Fall Behind. Yonder is a team based in Rome, so quite far from us, and Circle of Sumo, as a lot of beautiful games, was born at a global game jam there in Rome. The game uses deterministic physics and it has been developed with scalability in mind from the beginning, as the team didn't initially knew how much budget would they be able to raise. It was basically a modular game with some strong core mechanics that could be expanded in many ways and even into new games. So, how did we meet the guys from Yonder? It happened by chance. We were sitting one close to another in a meeting in Trento about public fundings for the video game industry. In Strika, we were at the time working on the prototype of our first proper production, and they were enjoying a bit of northern fresh air while trying to see what opportunities our local government was offering. We started talking about games and work, as always happens when game nerds are in the same room, and we ended up talking pretty soon about working together. We built a really strong connection since the beginning, maybe also thanks to good Italian wine. They were looking for some funding and publishing help. We were happy to step in and gain experience and work with an already skilled team. So the deal was pretty simple. We put a small amount of money on the table, mainly for polishing the pixel art and for the sound compartment and last things that were missing. We were in charge of dealing with Nintendo for the publishing side, and also we were managing all the financial aspects. We also agreed on going to every event out there, consumer or business, in order to gain visibility for the game and for the two teams. Then, in the meanwhile, we also started working together on the game we, in Strika, were prototyping, and we together with Yonder made it an ambitious co-production, development and business on our side, game design and art on the Yonder side. The game is still a work in progress, but this is another story. The development of Circle of Sumo went quite smooth, and in November 2018 we were ready. So we released the game on the Nintendo Switch and we threw a huge party in Trento. You never know how things go, so better throw a party whenever there is a chance. That's how we think about it. But anyway, how well did the game do? This graph illustrates the sales of the game for the first 1.5 years, more or less. The trend is quite standard. We didn't release any major updates to the game, so the spikes you can see every few months are mainly due to discounts on the eShop. What was interesting for us is that we acknowledged that our main market were the US. It was Americas, but specifically the US. It was one of our campaign main market, of course, but at the time we didn't expect that much difference with Europe. And yes, that was about the time we became rich, of course, but no, not really. That didn't happen. The game was not the huge success that every game developer dream about when they launch their first game, but we knew it. We knew the scale of the project, we knew its limits, its potential, and we were fairly happy with the results. We stayed for a few weeks in the top positions of the Nintendo charts, and we were happy. It was good enough to encourage us to continue expanding what we had in our hands. And also, we realized another thing. To play a local multiplayer game, you need another human being that play with you, in the same place, at the same time. Unbelievable, huh? Now, I don't want to say that local multiplayer games don't work. There are plenty of brilliant examples like Neat Dog or Overcooked or Mario Party, but we soon realized that it was a huge limit in our case. Everyone from critics to players was like, yeah, this game is good, fun, but what if I don't have friends close to me? What if I want to play the game while alone? And what about online, you may ask? Why didn't you thought about it? Of course we did. We thought about it during the very first stages of the development, but we were having a big problem. It's not easy, it's not cheap to develop an online game that is based on physics. We don't have the budget that Psyonix has for Rocket League, for example. Building our networking engine was out of our scope. But then we met Chris. He is the founder of a German company that build and sell a deterministic physics engine as a service called Quantum. He approached us at the London's Casual Connect, another good thing about winning prizes and going around the world. He liked the game and wanted us to build a demo for his product with the Circle of Sumo mechanics. The game was perfect to showcase their product. And we thought, you know what, we could build a proper game on it. And this was the first time that we started seriously to take into consideration to develop an online game. So what did we do? We managed to have a partnership with Exit Games, it's Chris company, in order to have the product with affordable costs. As Strika, we jumped into the development of the game by bringing a younger guy in Trento and building a small team around him. We also decided to put on a temporary hold our other main project. Yes, we thought, the process should be fast. But guess what? It was not. We planned it as a 3-month job. It took about 9. The development was intended for Nintendo Switch and PC, because why not? It's online. It could be of some kind of interest in the PC world. So why limit ourselves to the Nintendo world? Let's go on PC too. So now the point was how to release it. How should we sell it? More than for people asking us the online game, we choose to do it mainly to gain experience in building and publishing an online game. It's a tough thing to do, both on the development and the marketing side. And as I already said, we were and still are working on another title that will be an online game too. So yes, we needed experience. We still need experience. Our first thought was, let's make it as an update to the existing game, because it's the easiest thing to do on the business side. It pushes the sale of the original game. People that are asking us, the online game already has the game installed, and both online and offline mode will be in the same place. But it was not that easy, because the online and the offline game are built on two different engines, and it was not easy to match them in the same game. So we thought about creating a premium DLC for Circle of Sumo called Circle of Sumo Online Rumble, while lowering the price of the actual game, the already published game, from $10 to $7, and sell the DLC about $3. So the DLC plus the game were about $10. But we weren't sure about the reaction of the existing players who were meant to buy a new product. And we're talking about an online game. We all know that online games need a lot of players to stay alive. And yes, it was still kind of a problem, the integration between the two games, even if it was a DLC. So okay, let's do it as a standalone game. Let's start to solve the technical problems. The online side of the game was different enough from the offline. It was based more on a competitive gameplay. It was more focused on leaderboards and stuff like that, more than the party game side of it. It could have its own life, why not? But how should we price it? The online game was different, true, but at that point was having far less content compared to the already published one, and we needed a lot of players. And it was meant to be an update, not a game. So okay, again, let's make it free. Easy one. We could add a little content, make the game free to play, so it could guarantee us the amount of player we need to keep it alive, to test and stress the infrastructure of the game. On the monetization side, on the business side, the idea was to drive the players from the online game, so from Circle of Sumo Online Rumble, to the original game that at that time we started to call Circle of Sumo Classic. So we added a link to the online game, so the Circle of Sumo Rumble, in order to redirect players to the classic game. But well before even launching the early access on PC, we realized that it wasn't enough. At this point, we were investing more money than planned. We were adding features and content, so we needed something stronger. So finally, we landed on this model. Bear with me now. The game has 8 characters and 5 arenas. With the free version, players were able to pick random players and random arenas only. With the $5 DLC, they are able to choose whichever player and arena they prefer. There is also another advantage of buying the DLC. Players can have access to the daily, weekly and special challenge and medals, while players with the free game are only able to access the hourly tournament. We thought it was fair, was not involving a pay-to-win system, because everyone could play with all the players, even if randomly, and it could help us raise some money. The early access was released on Steam on the 17th of January 2020, this year, and we are still at this stage. We are still in the process of releasing the game on Switch, so for now on I will only talk about the first 2 months of the PC version in early access, as I think it's still too soon to talk about what happened the last few months and the last few months' results. So how did it go this time? This is the trend. Again, kind of classic, but better sustained this time by constant updates. Every peak you see here is an update of the game, and the last one was due to a major update combined with the lockdown. So that is when the lockdown happened. In the first 2 months, we had roughly about 25,000 unique players. Thanks to Steam and its worldwide platform, we had a broader market this time, even if the main one is still North American and the US specifically. Let's talk about some numbers. We made a marketing effort. We involved streamers, we organized tournaments, we had a little more than 25,000 unique players, 500 of them active every day. How many money did we make? $143.20 of net revenue. As you can imagine, even if Circle of Sumo Online Rumble was a fairly small production, we were quite far from break-even. And that's okay. We took this specific product as a learning one. So we said, let's learn. Let's see what's not working here. We started from the technical quality of the game. Maybe we have some problems with the game itself. Maybe something is not working properly. But no, the dev team did an amazing job. The game worked perfectly, was working perfectly. A bug here and there, but nothing major. It was really, really smooth. So let's see the gameplay, because if you can't blame it on developers, designers are always the second in line. But the game is fun. Players are enjoying, streamers are having fun, we can see them. At this point, even content is enough, and new features proposed by the small but loyal community we have built are rolling out. And most of all, we had really good reviews on Steam. So, hold on. Did we do something wrong in the mess of deciding what to do with the business model? Yeah, probably. More likely it's a mix of more than one factor. A few things could have gone wrong. Yes, the game is free, and that helped us in having exposure and players, but with a free game, retention is a lot harder than with premium games. Mobile developers know something about this. People try the game for like 2 minutes and that's it. Our game, as most of the games out there, need at least 10-15 minutes to be enjoyed. Moreover, pro players were completely destroying new players in matches, and that didn't help either on the retention side. We were also missing a few features that would help us a lot, like playing with your friends, or matchmaking based on skills. On top of it, and more notable probably, the DLC was not that appealing. Our most loyal players bought it to support us, but other than that, it was a fail. Not the brightest idea we ever had, for sure. So what happened next? This is when basically our story ends. We are still working on the game, but as I said, it's too soon to say if the new things we did are working or not. To name some of the new things, we added new features to the game, like emotes to communicate between players that you can unlock and collect by playing, new leaderboards, the play with your friends mode, new ranking system, a new matchmaking system, and we are also working on a few other things that are on their way, like live tournaments, and guess what? A new monetization system, this time based on a soft and a hard currency model. We are also adding a seasons system, so we will be able to easily distribute new content. So, finally, is Circle of Sumo Online Rumble a fail? To be fair and honest, that's a question we asked ourselves many times. But no, I don't think it is, not for us. We are proud about the game and how we managed to build a small but loyal community. This is a starting point for us. We are still working on the Nintendo Switch release that it's really close now. That combined with the PC full release could change the sort of the game. But again, for us, this is a starting point for our online game business adventure. Thanks to the scalable design and the experience we made, we are already working on a new chapter of the IP called Circle of Football. This time it will be premium, with more purchasable content available later on, with online and offline together in the same game. It will be released on all consoles next autumn. It's based on football, soccer, whatever you want to call it, and it's fun. Here's a sneaky peek of the game, a brief video so you can visualize what I'm talking about. And again, we are learning so many useful things about building, marketing, and managing online games that we can now apply it to our current main production, the one started like 2 years ago with Yonder, that makes we feel like we will have a real chance to make something that will stand and have great success. We really needed a starting project with limited scope that could help us to learn and test things. Of course, we are in a lucky spot. We can afford to test, try, fail, learn, try again. But I think that everyone, when starting a new business project from scratch, needs to give themselves the time to learn and adjust. There's no such thing as a huge success at the first try. I would love to talk about the marketing aspects of this adventure, but I'm afraid I would need another 2 hours of your time, so let's keep the marketing side out of this presentation for now. So, thank you all very much for listening. I hope you found it interesting. I wish we could be live for me to answer all of your questions, but if you want to reach out, I'm sure you will find my contacts somewhere here. Yeah, have a good day and stay safe.